All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Bill Clinton's testimony regarding his connections with the disgraced financier, everyone's least favorite POS, Jeffrey Epstein. Sick dude. You guys may have seen some viral clips out there of good old Bill and his creepy smile when looking at certain photos. We're gonna dive in here. We're gonna pick out the most important parts. Shawn was kind enough, as always, to do the timestamps for this so that we can get in there and show you the context surrounding these little short clips. Without further ado, we're going to start. By the way, the name of this is Watch Bill Clinton's Full Deposition on Jeffrey Epstein Ties Before House Oversight Panel. And this is from PBS News. So you guys can find the video if you like. I recommend watching the whole thing, but we're looking at almost 4 hours of testimony. Not everybody has that kind of time, so that's why we do what we do. Here we go.
Can the reporter please swear in the witness?
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly declare and affirm, under the penalty of perjury, that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so we know he's been sworn in. We jump ahead to the 1556 mark. In the meantime, it was just basically the reporter complaining about that photo that was released from Hillary's deposition. Boebert took a picture and put it out there. We can go back and forth as to whether that was right or wrong, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so 1556 to 1930 is Bill Clinton's opening statement. Strap in. I'd grab a sandwich. You're going to be here a minute.
I appreciate that. Nothing new.
Mr. President, do you wish to provide an opening statement?
I do. It's brief. First of all, good morning and welcome to all of you to our hometown. I appreciate you coming here. I'm here today basically for two reasons. First of all, I love my country and the Constitution, and I believe America was built on the idea that no one is above the law, especially President.
Sorry.
And that we should all live by the same set of rules shaped by the Constitution.
If only.
Democracy requires every person to play their part, and I hope that by being here today, we can bring ourselves a little further away from the brink and back to being a country where we can disagree civilly and search for the truth and justice, and that outweighs the partisan urge for spectacle and point scoring. I will do my part, and I hope you'll do yours. The second reason I'm here is that the girls and women whose lives Jeffrey Epstein destroyed deserve not just justice, but healing. They've been waiting too long for both. Through my brief acquaintance with Jeffrey Epstein, though it ended years before his crimes came to light, and though I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was going on, I'm here to offer what little I know so I can do my part to prevent something like this from happening again.
He knows. Un poco.
I have to just say one personal thing.
Yeah.
Since Hillary came in yesterday, she had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Mm-hmm. Nothing. There's a picture of us both shaking hands with him in a photo line in 1993 at a fundraiser for the White House Historical Association. I don't know how it is under President Trump, but when I was there, it was about the most non-political operation you can imagine. There were people who love the White House, who were interested in it, would give a little money every year to do things that needed doing around the house. And nothing nearly as extravagant as the ballroom or any of that, just things that had to be done.
Right, here we go.
And neither she nor I remembered shaking his hand all those years ago.
despite him visiting the White House multiple
Oh.
times during the Clinton administration, he doesn't remember.
So I don't think that was right. On the other hand, I do think you should be talking to me. I think you should have called me. I did take those plane trips with him, and you have a right to ask those questions. So I'm glad to be here, and
Okay.
I understand what the oath is. I have to be honest with you. You know, I'll be 80 years old if I live to my next birthday. I don't remember everything that happened 24 years ago, but I do remember some things, and I will tell you what I remember as best I can.
Okay. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you believe him that he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, even though he took that trip all those years ago, multiple trips, and then said, yeah, I was on the plane, which I'll give him. I got to give him. I like to talk crap about the Clintons, but he did say, yeah, you should absolutely be talking to me.
Yeah, he did.
He did. I got to give it to him. All right. So we're jumping ahead to 2131, and we're going to take this to 3016.
I want to start from the beginning. When did you first meet Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, I will try in this testimony, and I will point it out when I'm aware there's a picture or something that's.
Real quick, I don't know if you guys noticed, but his hand is shaking. Do you know if he has any kind of condition,
Not that I know of,
like
but
palsy or I know there's a number of conditions that can cause this. I obviously don't have any access to his medical records. And if there's a medical reason for this, then everything I'm about to say goes out the window. But that tends to also be a sign of nervousness,
which could be.
which is possible. Again,
He is 80.
I was just about to say, yeah, again, he is
All I
old.
know is he's had some heart problems.
okay. And that's completely possible that's directly related. I have no way of knowing.
Predates us. There's a picture that shows him shaking hands in the White House Historical Association reception. That was in 1993, but I'm not aware of that. I first remember meeting him when I got on his airplane to take the first trip with my foundation in, I think, 2002. Whenever it was.
And to be clear, do you have any reason to believe that you may have met Mr. Epstein prior to becoming president of the United States?
Before I became president, no.
And you mentioned that your first memory of interacting with Mr. Epstein was on your first trip. Which trip specifically?
I'm not sure which one it was. Which one was the first?
You know what?
I
I can understand that. I mean, look how many he took.
True.
I don't remember when the first one was. I don't remember what the circumstances of the first one was. Like when you have 26, 27 flights with the guy, thinking back to the very first one is probably difficult.
I think it was 18, but yeah.
Okay, but I don't know
I know
how
your
many.
point.
I'm just tossing a number out. Let me be clear on that. I don't know for sure. 18 sounds a lot more likely,
But still,
but either
that's a
way,
lot.
that's a lot. So yeah, if I did anything 18 times, it would be hard to remember the first time. Except, giggity. Anyway,
took
I'm stupid. I know.
all the parts of 4 or 5 trips to Asia and Africa and one to Northern Europe on Mr. Epstein's airplane. And once when I was in Florida, I was offered a ride back to New York, but I wasn't there having it. It was just coincidental that he was there. And I think that was fairly early in the process, but I don't remember exactly. I just know that I did.
Coincidence.
I took one flight back from Florida to New York,
I don't believe in coincidences
and
anymore.
all were part of
I don't.
several other I think 4
Still
or
possible,
5
but
trips to Africa, Asia, and 1 to Northern Europe.
And I want to make sure the record is clear. Is it your testimony today that you have no independent recollection whatsoever of the circumstances of when you first met Mr. Epstein?
Objection asked and answered. You can answer again.
Yes, I do have a recollection of when I remember meeting him before this trip. I mean, on this trip when I took his plane.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I want to make sure I'm not the only one who's mixed up a little, because I thought he said in like '02 at a fundraiser was the first time he remembered meeting him.
yeah.
Now did I get that wrong? Or
No, I think that's what.
you guys let me know in the comments if I'm getting mixed up here. I may have to go back and rewatch this after we do the video just to make sure I got. Let me see if they dive in.
Mr. President, we're going to discuss more specifics later,
No.
but for the record, can you briefly describe the nature and extent of your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Well, sometime after I left the White House, either in late 2001 or early.
I just want to make sure. Do you have your phone with you?
I do.
Can you look up exactly what year Epstein was convicted of that sweetheart plea deal that he got
Okay.
from, what's his name, Acosta?
In Florida,
Yeah.
I think it was 2008, but I'll double check.
Yeah. You can look on that.
In 2002, I received a call from Larry Summers, who had been on my economic team and was later Secretary of Treasury
Yep, Larry Summers. That's fine.
and was then president of Harvard. And he said that
Yep, 2008.
Okay. Now I want you guys to pay close attention to this. He's telling you his connection. Someone deep in the finance world, Larry Summers.
he was calling because a man named Jeffrey Epstein, who had made a substantial commitment of several $1 million, I think it was 10, but whatever it was, I don't, to brain research. And that he was a information hungry person, and he wanted to spend some time talking to me about economics and politics. And he said, he's got this massive airplane, and he said he would take you, your staff, your Secret Service detail, and anybody else you wanted to bring on the trips that he knew I was planning to set up a global network to provide life-saving AIDS medicine to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
I want you guys, did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I want you to watch his face very carefully. Watch his lips. I'm going to back it up. Pay close attention to his lips when he says life-saving AIDS, whatever. Watch this.
To as many people as possible, as
Here we go.
to provide life-saving AIDS medicine to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything. You caught it, right? He laughed.
Uh-huh.
He fucking laughed. One more time for posterity's sake, then we're going to move on. Work.
Ah.
Global network to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
Hold on, I'm going to back it up. One more time. I've been having issues with my player today. I apologize for this.
Medicine to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible.
Now, maybe he was just like swallowing or clearing his throat, but the smile is really hard to explain away and to fake. All right, we're going to move on. I find that highly suspicious, personally.
And I should back up and say, when I left office we had done all the preliminary work to set up the global funds on HTB malaria, but it was not yet funded. And there were other instruments and institutions who were later founded, including President Bush's PEPFAR program. It had not yet been funded. There were only 200,000 people in the entire developing world who had AIDS medicine. Most of them in Brazil, which had a big drug operation on its own, and in Thailand, which also had its own drug population. In Africa, there were like 30,000 people or something, just next to no people. And they were dying like flies. And I thought,
What an odd expression when he said that.
Dying like flies.
That's
we
just
had
what he
found
said, but look at
dying
his
like
face
flies.
again.
And
Hold on, one more
or
time.
something, just next to no people. And they were dying like flies. And I thought we had found a way.
Now, maybe if you guys let me know if you think I'm seeing things that aren't there or am reacting to, I don't know, guys. I don't know. It just seems sus to me, but that's just me.
To drastically drive the price down. And
Let's also keep in mind that for all the things that Jeffrey Epstein was claimed to be, a humanitarian doesn't really make the list. So all this focus on AIDS research and all of this stuff, in my opinion, is a smokescreen for something else.
if we could drive the price down, we could, and empower people to administer the medicine right, we could save a lot of lives. And I was obsessed with it. And I was being helped by a man named Ira Magaziner who had helped us in the White House and whom I had known since we lived as Rhodes Scholars together in the 1960s. So anyway, that's why when Larry Summers said this, I thought, boy, this would be great. And so we followed up and took the trips.
Sounds like a good cover story.
Mr. President, when did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
When did it end? Well, I believe I took my last flight in 2003. Now, later I became aware of some involvement he had in the first Clinton Global Initiative, but it was much later.
Why did your relationship with Mr. Epstein end?
Well, after a year or two, we really picked up a head of steam with this AIDS program, and a lot of other people whom I knew better and who really cared about the work came forward and offered to help us provide transportation. And I thought Mr. Epstein
Wasn't he president at the time? Clinton?
Uh,
Why would transportation be even the remotest of a problem?
that's a good question.
Like, and I just want you guys, like, Secret
Force
Service
One.
should absolutely have said, absolutely not. We control transportation. You're going to go on Air Force One because we can secure it. Like, it, just, everything about this story just doesn't sound right. But moving on.
an interesting man, but I didn't think he was really interested in what I was doing. That is, he asked all these questions. He did ask about economics and politics, as he said he would. And he never asked me anything untoward. It's just that I thought I had done what I promised to do, and he had done what he promised to do. And I thought I've always, over the years, with these donors, tried not to overstay my welcome. I thought that we'd done enough, and then it's time to start working with other people.
That is the oddest explanation. Like, guys, again, if you guys think that I'm way off on this, but what an interesting choice of words there. He did what he promised to do.
Yeah.
And I did what I promised to do. And it was time to move on. I didn't think he asked the right questions, but he didn't really seem interested in what I was doing. But yet he did. There's so much left unsaid here and so much reading between the lines that needs to happen by someone far more skilled than me. So that the shake has increased noticeably.
When did you first learn of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes?
I think in 2008 when he was prosecuted. There's nothing that I saw when I was around him that made me realize he was trafficking women. And I never.
I don't
It's a
believe
weird shade.
it's a weird shake and the eye shifts and whatever, but we're going to move forward a little bit to the 56-52 mark. I find it very odd choice of phrasing, very odd
Body language.
body language. Again, I am no body language expert. As I stated in the last video, it's been a while since I've seen the series Lie to Me. If you guys have never seen it, quality, by the way, quality series, Lie to Me. It's on most streaming platforms, I believe.
I've never seen it.
Really, really good. I enjoy, especially season one. Season one was incredible. And it goes into micro expressions and a lot of really interesting stuff. It's fiction. It's, created for TV, but the foundation is hard science. And it's actually really, really interesting. Anyway.
I see this.
This is the paragraph he wants to
Yeah.
ask you guys.
Mr. President, the article reads, by 1995, Clinton and Epstein were sufficiently chummy that he wrote a get well soon note to Epstein's ailing mother. Hang in there, the president scrawled on a yellow Post-it, which Epstein saved and we review.
Okay, now that's interesting. That says way back in 1996. Now,
Yeah.
when did Clinton get elected?
First time was 1992.
92. Okay, so it was 92 to 96, right?
He wasn't inaugurated till 93.
93, right? But he was elected in the 92 election. Started 93 to 97, right? Well, he would have ended in
And was elected
96.
again.
Yeah, but got elected again, so that would have taken him all the way to 02
01.
or 1. Okay, yeah. So he's talking about the encounters in 02. How was he
Yeah, after he was president.
after he was president? So maybe he's getting the dates wrong. He is 80 years old.
He is.
So I'm not going to go too hard on that, but odd. Just all of it is
His
odd.
body language is odd.
Yeah. So that then goes back. If it was at that point, then transportation was a concern because he wasn't president anymore. So I think we're talking about that whole Clinton Global Initiative and Clinton Foundation crap. Personally, that's what I think. All these trips, obviously the illegal stuff aside, the front for it being this whole AIDS thing and blah blah blah. But just
Mr. President, did you write this note?
Are you asking if he recalls writing this note from 1995 on a Post-it?
Correct.
Okay, thanks. Just to clarify.
It looks like my handwriting, but I don't recall. But I will tell you this. I have written get well notes to lots of people I did not know and had never met.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Probably
answered
has.
As
my
president.
next question.
Yeah, and he was governor of Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure, I don't know what he did before that, but point being, as someone who has put their hat in the political arena, there is a lot of contact with people that it's a one-time meeting, or can you write this to my dad, or whatever. Potentially. I'll give him potentially.
Do you ever meet Jeffrey Epstein's mother or any of his family members?
No, I'm not sure that I was asked to do this by Jeffrey Epstein.
And I want to focus specifically on the article's characterization. It says that you were chummy with Mr. Epstein in 1995. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm going to object to that characterization. It's hearsay. President may answer.
No. I was surprised by that.
Stop.
What did the lawyer say? Stop talking?
I think that's what he said.
Now, interestingly enough, you guys, and this is very well known, people who are lying tend to over-explain.
True.
People who are telling falsehoods tend to say way more than someone who is telling the truth. I'm not saying that's the case here. I want to be perfectly clear. However, I'm going to back it up. I'm going to see if we can pick up exactly what he said here.
Let's
Stop. Stop.
I can't tell exactly what stop something,
Stop
but
something.
it could be stop talking, stop rustling, stop
Shaking.
Yeah, stop looking. It could be a ton of things.
Let's talk about your relationship with Mr. Epstein after you left the White House.
Okay.
How would you characterize your relationship with Mr. Epstein?
Mr.
Well-
President, do you have a question, please?
During the time it was cordial.
At any time, would you characterize
That's an interesting. Again, I love the show Lie to Me. I look for micro expressions. I can't always interpret them, but I try to notice them. And that little turn of the mouth there when he said we were cordial. Once again,
It was cordial.
Oh, I saw that.
do you see it? That little. Yeah. Again, it's up to someone far better than I am at body language, but I did pick up on it. And now you have too. What does that mean? That's not for me to say.
at any time would you characterize Mr. Epstein as a friend?
We were friendly, but I didn't know him well enough to say we were friends.
How often did you communicate with Mr. Epstein?
Usually only on the trips. I did go to his house once, as you know.
We've been to
Once.
the White House.
And we will discuss
Right.
that further
Yeah.
later on today.
Again, bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, public record states that Jeffrey Epstein signed into the White House visitor logs how many times during the Clinton administration?
What's
18?
18?
Ooh, okay. I don't know how many times. You guys, by all
Not
means,
sure.
do your research on this, but I do know it is multiple times that he visited the Clinton White House.
He did.
And how did you typically communicate with Mr. Epstein? Did you talk to him on the phone?
Excuse me, he just said he talked to him on the trips, so that's in person.
Typically, my staff communicated with with him. I think it was mostly Mr. Band, but somebody talked to him.
And you mentioned that you visited one of his properties. But outside of the work on the foundation and your trips, how many times did you meet in person with Mr. Epstein?
You're asking him to the best of his recollection.
Outside of the trips, I believe he came to the office once in Harlem. I was still at the house up there then. And I think he paid a brief visit to the office. And I paid a brief visit to his house. When I once thought he was there, but now that I think about it, I don't think he was. And that was it. I mean, I didn't,
Okay, but
that's what I remember.
And you mentioned you visited Mr. Epstein's house. Are you referring to his New York townhouse?
Yes.
Okay. So again, he's claiming, oh, he visited the office. Now, what office he's exactly talking about, I'm not sure, but he said one time, and then he visited a different office one time. And then most of the contact, he claims, most of the contact with Epstein was through staffers, his staff, individuals. We don't know exactly who. He mentioned a name that I didn't catch, but that's his claim. But again, we see he checked into the White House multiple times. All right, we're going to jump ahead a little bit to 102.49. And this is regarding a neck massage. Dun, dun, dun.
Nancy Mace.
Is that who's doing the line of questioning? Okay.
Not the neck massage, but I mean, Nancy Mace is doing the question.
She's doing the questioning now? Okay. Here we go.
excuse me, both of whom, Congressman.
Of course.
All right.
Have you traveled with Jeffrey Epstein and Huma Abedin together?
I do not know.
Okay, thank you. If the staff can please pass out EFTA 0021628 and the rest of the documents I have them print regarding passports to the president and council.
To be Exhibit 12.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
Mr. President, if you look at the passport page, the bottom of the document should show the EFTA number. It's 000021628.
yeah,
There's a name on there. Would you be able to read that name to me?
Can you read the name?
Excuse me, Congressman,
Yes.
will you
You
ask
can
me
read the
if you've ever seen the document before?
Yes, well, this is evidence, and so I wanted to ask him specifically. So it's from the DOJ document release, right?
I understand, but he may not have seen it, or he may have seen it.
no, I've never seen it, but it looks like a passport.
Okay. Can you tell me the name that's listed on the passport?
Excuse me, he's
Now, interesting side note here. I've never seen it, is different than I don't remember ever seeing this, because he's relying heavily on his flawed memory of being an 80-year-old. I'm just tossing that out there. It's hard to say, well, I don't remember this and I don't remember that, when you look at something and say with conviction, I've never seen this. Again, just my opinion.
never seen this document. Would you just read the name, please?
Yes, the name is Marius Robert.
Marius Robert, yeah,
Are you familiar with that name at all?
no.
Okay. Would you be able to identify the individual in the photo?
It looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay, the reason I ask you about this specifically is because I do believe that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence operative. And so this was a passport that was actually entered in and released by the Department of Justice, but this was an FBI filing. It was found in his safe, if you will. So it's an alias. The reason I ask you that is because given your nature and position, I'm wondering if you were essentially targeted by a honeypot operation and or by intelligence to gather information. So that's why I asked you that question.
Well, I think it's a honey-
Mr. President, there's not a question pen.
I haven't.
The lawyer stopped him. Did you see that? Whoa. Good lawyer. Good lawyer. Always stop your client from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
He was leaning forward. He was about to dive into this. And the lawyer's like, whoa.
Question.
Hold on,
No.
hold on.
You can ask a question.
Well, I'll be getting to more, but
Look, hold
That's-
on. I'm back it up again because that was entertaining.
Is there a question?
No.
asked you that question.
Well, I think it's a honey-
Mr. President, there's not a question pen.
Is there a question?
No.
No, there's not a question pending. There are a lot of ways you could interpret this look, but I'm just going to let you guys do.
You can ask a question.
Well, I'll be getting to more, but that's the reason I asked that. Okay, my next question for you is, have you ever,
What is so funny?
I don't know that.
They just asked about, potentially being the target of a honeypot operation by an intelligence operative while you were president of the United States. Look at this goofy ass grin. Now, we can all agree Bill Clinton can be goofy sometimes. It's part of his charm. It's part of the thing that, has gotten him as far as he got in life. But I think it's completely inappropriate time to have this shit-eating grin on his face.
Uh-huh.
Just,
It's something serious.
Had contact with an individual by the name of Shantae Davies.
I believe Shantae that's a distinctive name, and so I think that was the name of one of his flight attendants.
Okay. She's been described on being on a 2002 Africa trip and providing massages. Was she or any other young female on that trip underage at that time?
Not that I'm aware of.
good answer.
Did you ever receive a massage or have physical contact from her or anyone else on that trip?
You've seen the pictures. There was one time when I was sitting up and I got a back rub.
That's
My
fine.
neck work.
Look at that smile. That is not guilt. That is not, oh my God, I hope she was an adult. That was, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, really, dude?
Terrible. Sick.
Terrible optics. Terrible optics, regardless of what he actually did or didn't do. Because I don't have a stack of evidence against Bill Clinton where I'm like, he did this. It's just really bad optics. Think about the scenario that's going on right now. Remember, this is the guy that from the beginning said even presidents are not above the law. Okay. Don't smile.
And I think Shantae did it, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you ever visit Epstein's Little St. James Island?
No.
We have Virginia Guffrey, who has testified seeing you on the island with two young girls. Did this occur at all? Okay. Why do you think she would have made that claim?
Objection, speculation. He can't possibly.
Have you ever met her or any other Epstein associated underage girl?
Not to my knowledge.
Good answer. Okay. Again, he can say whatever he wants, but his face says something else. All right, we're going to jump ahead to 111:24. Close enough. Sorry, 111:14 to 113:54. And we're talking about Epstein's 50th birthday card.
Before we left off, I asked you to characterize your relationship with Mr. Epstein. I asked you if you considered him to be a friend. You said you did not. Is that right?
I said we were friendly and we had a cordial relations, but I didn't know him well enough because we had almost no contact beyond what I described.
At this time, I'd like to introduce what will be marked as Majority Exhibit 13. And this is Bates marked House Oversight 000126. And while it's being passed out, this is a letter from a book of letters, which
it's his 50th birthday.
Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
Questions.
Wait for the question. It was the lawyer. Again, the lawyer seems to know what he's doing because he's like, perfect. Wait for the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Good
remember,
lawyer.
yeah, Clinton's somebody who likes to talk. Bill loves to hear himself talk. I've picked up on that, and maybe I'm wrong, but he gives that vibe. So lawyer, be on it, man. He's got to be on it with this guy. And I'm the same way, as if you guys couldn't tell.
Really?
Mr. President, do you recognize this
I do.
letter? And for the record, does this appear to be your handwriting and
It
signature?
is.
And why did you write this letter?
Why did I? Because I was requested to contribute a nice letter for his birthday book.
And who asked you to write the letter?
I don't remember.
Would Miss Maxwell have
I
asked
don't
you?
know. I think someone on my staff asked me.
Now,
Maybe it was Larry Summers.
Could have been.
I'm just saying, like, he has already made the connection between Larry Summers and Epstein previously, which needs to be looked into, guys. That's all I'm saying.
there's a word that our committee has not been able to identify, and in our defense, the Wall Street Journal has not been able to identify.
Imagine being on his staff.
Can you please read the letter for the record?
Ouch.
Whoa, that is a lawyer move right there. Insofar as, how do you think I feel? I have to decipher this guy's handwriting all the time. Imagine being on his staff, having to, seriously though, imagine being on his staff and having to decipher all that handwriting, dude. Not just Clinton, but somebody who writes poorly. God, I feel bad for doctors' assistants, man. Like, doctor handwriting is some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yes. It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends.
That's why
What an odd message.
that's why I wanted this clip.
Oh my. I want to back that up so you guys can really take in.
The drive to make a difference,
One more time.
and still to have
Okay, I think one more then. Sorry.
of learning and knowing, to have lasted.
He's slow.
Yes.
There we go.
It's reassuring, isn't it, to have lasted so long across all the years of learning and knowing, adventures and errors, and still to have your childlike curiosity, the drive to make a difference, and the solace of friends.
What a weird message. What a knowing what, learning what. Like, it's
I don't think
open to vast interpretation. I shudder to think.
Me too.
Not a bad letter.
And because we
Look at the,
And then the grin.
yeah. Did you see? Not a bad letter. Google.
haven't been able to
Look, he's still
identify
laughing.
that
He's creepy.
word until now, what did you?
Which
mean
word was it?
He's creepy.
Oh
able
my.
to,
Not a bad letter.
and because we haven't been able to identify that word until now, what did you?
Which
mean?
word was it that you could not?
Solace, you couldn't,
No, errors.
errors. What did I
Were you
mean? Anybody who's lived 50 years and done anything has made mistakes as well as progress and done things.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. The errors isn't even the icky part of it.
Oh,
But for the record, you weren't referring to errors in judgment that Mr. Epstein had related to his inappropriate activities involving.
Absolutely not. I knew nothing about that.
What do you guys think? Do you believe him?
Did you ever see the birthday book compiled together?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We jump ahead just a little bit. 1:15:28. And the reference we have, the reference is photo in Epstein's home. Now, is this the blue dress? Clinton in the blue dress?
I think that, yes.
And is this the one that we've always seen viral clips of him laughing about or smiling about? We don't know. Let's take a look.
I think so.
I think so.
We're specifically looking at a framed photo on a wooden table alongside multiple other framed photos. And we're focusing on the photo in the middle, which appears to have a golden frame.
What is that?
I think two more pages.
He's finding it. You looked at the lawyer. Which one are we looking at here? Oh, this page.
Not the
Okay.
page with the Pope one.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
Page 10. Is that what we're on?
Page 10.
Okay.
Mr. President, do you recognize yourself in this photo?
I do.
And it appears that the man on the right of the photo is Jeffrey Epstein. Is that correct?
I think so.
Have you seen this photograph before today?
Only in this picture.
And for the record, what is happening in this photo?
He's smiling at me. Looks like he's talking to me.
this is one of the friendly interactions that you were describing earlier.
Yes.
And can you describe the circumstances surrounding this photo?
Are you asking if he recalls the?
I do not. I have no idea. I see Richard Branson in the back, and
Okay.
Which, as we know, Richard Branson was on the log multiple times as well. Many of them were. I don't know where this photo was taken. I don't know if it's at Epstein Island or somewhere else. They said it was at his house, at Epstein's home. So I don't know if that's the New York home or the Little St. James home or one of the other ones. Because these rich fucks all have multiple homes across the world. And so who knows which one we're talking about. But
for people. But I don't remember anything about it.
And you appear to be comfortable with Mr. Epstein in this photo. Would you disagree with
So
that characterization?
You're creating a characterization. He's already responded to your question about the picture.
I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable here. I'm not happy, but I'm
Obviously.
comfortable.
way too comfortable, in my opinion. But I know I know if I was called in for a deposition, I actually had a deposition recently in the lawsuit with LaPorte County. But when I'm called in for a deposition, I'm certainly not going in there all jovial, especially if said deposition is related to one of the most sick individuals that the public knows about.
And my conscience is clear. That helps.
I don't believe the man has a conscience. I'm just going to say that. I really don't think he has a conscience. If you guys forget his presidency, forget anything else, look into the Clinton Foundation. That alone tells me everything I need to know about him. All right, we're going to jump ahead to 131:48. And again, I don't think he has a conscience, so it being clear does not do much for me. All right, 131:48 to 135:10. The note we have is Clinton visits Epstein's New York home.
Oh, yeah.
So this is definitely from his New York abode rather than Little St. James or whatever. Here we go.
Okay, I am going to move to the years after your presidency. We'll do this in chronological order as well. Your second term ended in January of 2001. In December of 2001, the New York Post reported that you and Miss Maxwell had dinner at a New York City restaurant called Nello's. Do you have any specific recollection of that dinner?
No. How did I know? I didn't. No, I don't.
Again, his lawyer's like, okay, you said no, leave it there. Stop trying to say more. Because again, liars tend to over-explain.
I remember the article.
So moving into 2002, you touched on this in the previous round. It sounds like there were two meetings. We don't have exact dates for them, but one of them was at your office in Harlem with Mr. Epstein. The other was at Mr. Epstein's home in New York City. Could you just repeat for us, what do you recall about each meeting, maybe starting with your office in Harlem?
I just remember that sometime in 2002, I think, he paid a visit, and he had become, I think it was either after or just before we started the flights. But he obviously was going to be a serious supporter of the foundation, and I think he paid a visit. I was flattered he wanted to see my office. I liked it.
And then
Saw the face, right?
Mhm.
Again, just focus on his face. Look at his expressions.
the meeting at his home in New York City, did I hear you say in the previous hour that Mr. Epstein was not actually there?
I said that when I wrote my book and talked about it, and when I've talked about it in the past, I've I realized I talked as if he were there, and of course he was there. And I started trying to picture the nice man on the staff that showed me around. And now I'm just being honest, I don't remember whether he was there or not. He could have been there, but I don't remember.
Weird thing to say.
Very odd. Very, very odd.
As far as you can recall, would the purpose of that meeting also have been related to Mr. Epstein's support of your work through his plane, for example?
Yeah, the reason we went by, regardless of who was there, was that my staff we finished an event in New York City that had a place, and Lord knows how many I've done since then. I don't remember what it was for, but it was in New York City. And my staff, they said, we're only a couple of blocks from Epstein's house. It's a converted elementary school. He's very proud of it.
Yeah.
Bruh, what?
Yeah.
Epstein's house in New York is a converted school? I had no idea of this.
I didn't know that either until I watched that.
Yeah. Okay.
That is terrible.
And I think, it'd be a nice thing to do since it's early. You could just go by and take a look at it. So that's what we did.
Do you recall seeing anything or anyone in his home?
I wonder what that letter, that the note that the lawyer just slipped to him said, because his face changed. I wonder if she said, wipe that smile off your face.
Probably did.
Because look, he had this big old shit-eating grin. Again, purely opinion, but it looked like to me like he had a shit-eating grin on his face, and she slid that over, and his face went.
That was.
Again, he smiles through this.
He smiles so much.
Recall seeing.
So that's what we did.
Do you recall seeing anything or anyone in his home that was suspicious or reflected abnormal?
That's what I'd have done if I was his lawyer. I'd have been like, stop smiling.
Normally young women or girls?
No, the only people I saw there that night were staff. And him, if he was there, I just don't remember.
Yeah, his staff. Again, that can take any form. I mean, if you assume that this guy's paying them, then they're his staff, even if they're young individuals. All right, so we're going to go ahead to 206:30. And the note that we have on this is 3 survivors who involve
in healing, and that's where I'd like to focus my questions. And in particular, I want to focus on 3 survivors who have shared stories that involve you. So I want to begin with Maria Farmer. Do you know who Maria Farmer is? Maria Farmer was employed by Jeffrey Epstein and abused by him for a number of years. And
oh, look, it could almost as if she could be qualified as staff.
First reported her abuse to the New York PD and FBI in 1996. And she states that she has personal knowledge that you visited Jeffrey Epstein's house 3 to 4 times while you were the sitting president between 1995 and 1996. And she says she knows this based on photographs that Ghislaine Maxwell showed to her, as well as discussions with the staff. So let me ask you, Mr. President, did you visit Jeffrey Epstein's house while you were president?
I do not remember doing that. I do not believe I did.
How do you explain this discrepancy?
Objection calls for him to speculate.
I can't speculate. But all I can tell you is I don't remember being there.
Okay. Moving on to Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Are you familiar with her? as has already been established, she has stated in numerous sworn statements, including a sworn deposition in the Maxwell trial, that she saw you on the island with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, this morning, her family shared her diary with me. And in it is a quote wherein she writes, quote, Bill Clinton met 2 times island with 2 girls, CT, GM, and JE. What is your reaction to that?
It's not true.
Do you have any dates associated with that? Were there dates on the diary?
I don't have that information, but we'll be happy to share it with you.
Terrific, because I think there are also records that would reflect where else he would have been. So thanks.
Did she say that in her book?
This is from her personal diary that her family shared with us.
Yes, but the book came out more recently. Did she say that in the book?
I'm just reading you the entry from her diary that her family shared with me.
I think she ultimately reached a different conclusion, although I have no contact with her.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that it's on the record that is.
What an interesting thing to say. I mean, almost like, seems to me like she met a different end. But maybe I'm reading into it.
Virginia Giuffre's statement. Did you ever fly in a helicopter with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Ever, anywhere? I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
I don't know, dude. Like, I tend to remember. Now, granted, I've never been president. I'm sure he takes a lot more helicopter rides than I do. But I tend to remember who I go on a helicopter with. I mean, helicopter is not something that most people ride on a regular basis. Even the president doesn't take Marine One that often. But maybe.
At least one of the survivors claims that you flew in a helicopter with Ghislaine Maxwell to the island.
Did you ever?
Then I did not do that. I've never been to that island.
Okay. The third person I want to talk about briefly.
I wonder what he's going to say if, like, there's actually any surveillance footage from the island, because I hear there is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Have you seen, just out of curiosity, have you seen the photo of all of the monitors that are set up that apparently that whole island was wired, and there's video of everything that occurred on that island. Now, who has said video, I don't know, but I've seen several pictures that predate this AI slop that is compelling, put it that way. Now, I don't have it. I can't. I wish I did, dude. Oh my God. Can you imagine that?
Anyway. Is Shantae Davies. I know we've already mentioned.
But at the same time, I don't want to see that stuff.
No, I don't.
Like, I don't want to see that stuff.
Her here today. I know you've already mentioned that she was listed as a flight attendant on the trip to South Africa in 2002 that you took with Jeffrey Epstein. Are you aware that Shantae Davies is a survivor who claims she was abused for 3 years, including during that time period?
I am now.
And are you aware that Jeffrey Epstein recruited his victims through calling them masseuses?
No.
You're not aware that
But
Jeffrey...
it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I didn't know that. No.
Knowing that Jeffrey Epstein recruited hundreds of minors as masseuses to massage him, and knowing that this victim, who was a survivor 3 years of his sexual abuse as a masseuse, was on the plane, does that make you think about the massage you received from her differently?
Can I just interrupt? You're saying knowing, you know that. He was saying that he was unaware that that's how Mr. Epstein was recruiting his individuals.
I'm asking if today, hearing this...
You've seen the picture?
I have a copy of it right here. Yes.
Well, I'm sitting up and
I'm just asking if now that you know that Jeffrey Epstein recruited girls as masseuses, does that reframe that photograph, and knowing that there were girls on the plane that were being abused?
Objection. It states facts not in the record. You can ask this witness what he thinks or remembers about anything that happened. but I don't think it's right to ask him to speculate.
She wants to know if I feel bad about it. Yes.
I'm not, I think
Don't
what,
you?
Smile on
what
it.
I'm
Look,
trying,
yeah, look at that smile. Guys, look, just think about, put yourself in that situation just for a moment. You're being inquired, you're sitting in front of a congressional oversight committee and being asked about one of the most disgusting human beings to ever walk the face of this planet. And your association with him, you're told these people that were on that plane, that were in his house, they were sexual abuse victims. Now you received a massage and this and that. Do you feel bad about that today? Me, I'd be like, hell yeah. I had no idea. This guy's like, yeah, a little bit. Are you kidding me?
to get at is that there is a culture that surrounded.
Look at the face. Oh my God. I don't even know if I can finish this. It's like I'm getting so mad just looking at this grin.
Jeffrey Epstein, in which Rich
Bruh.
is that there is a culture that surrounded Jeffrey Epstein, in which rich and powerful people saw young women that were survivors who were being abused and didn't say anything and didn't do anything.
So is your question?
Part of what I'm trying to do is to ask you, we know there was a survivor that was on the plane. You've stated that you didn't know she was a survivor. I understand that, but I'm asking now that you are aware that Epstein was recruiting survivors as masseuses, does this make you rethink what you saw as you were traveling and interacting with him?
That's a reasonable question. And it's not framed in a hostile way. It's not coming across as you piece of garbage. I think it was very respectful. And I think it was an opportunity. Dude, it's a softball. Absolutely. I feel absolutely horrible about everything these victims have gone through. If I had had any idea, blah, 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 blah. Instead, the lawyer jumps in.
So he has already spoken to. Wait a minute. I want to make sure that you are clearly answering her question. He's already stated what he saw and what he knew. And so what you're now asking him is, given what you've now shared with him, does he think any differently about what he saw and what he knew? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I wish Shante had told me. I liked her.
Look at that smile. I bet you did, you sick fuck.
Yeah, he's sick.
But I didn't think it was anything unusual. I can't tell you how many airplanes I've been on.
Which is
where
probably
rich
true.
people asked me to go and they had someone offering massage. You know, all these boats that you go on and all that, they all do that.
Brad just implicated himself in all kinds of stuff and doesn't even realize it. All these powerful people have paid sex slaves. That's it. I mean, that's one takeaway. That's not what I'm saying, but it certainly is a potential takeaway from the what do they call it, spontaneous utterance.
And the lawyer's looking away.
Yeah, the lawyer's like, oh my God.
And usually I don't do that. I'm not into.
Right.
Well, that certainly raises some other questions about people offering free massages on boats, etc. But I do want to enter a couple of exhibits into the record, and I know council is prepared to pass them out. And while that is occurring, we're going to introduce this exhibit. What is it? Exhibit I. It'll be Minority Exhibit I, which is a FBI PowerPoint that was included in the files that were released as part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And then I would like to introduce this exhibit, which is Exhibit J, which is a internal correspondence emails between the FBI. And though I'm short on time, what I'll describe in both these exhibits is that your name appears in FBI tip sheets as having attended parties in Jeffrey Epstein's presence in which sexual activities were occurring. Did you ever attend a party of any kind or an event with Jeffrey Epstein in which sexual activities were occurring? Okay. And then finally, there will be many millions of people.
And interestingly enough, this wasn't one of those, not that I recall or half-ass my memory. It was a very quick no. So suddenly you remember that. Just
People that watch this deposition, what would you like to say to the survivors directly?
That I hope this will produce.
look at this again. Pay attention to his mouth.
Yes, smile
A
again.
sense of finality. And I don't think that'll happen till the government starts holding on to all the records. I think that,
Huh?
the record should be released.
Smile again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that we need to come up with strategies to help people who can't get over this get better. And the most important thing we do, I think, besides treat the victims right, is increase.
What do you mean by treat the victims right with that smile? Did you catch that?
Yeah.
The guardrails that will set off alarm systems and stop other people from doing the same thing Epstein did.
Anyway. All right, we're going to move ahead roughly 1 minute. To 2:15:55 to 2:18:23. Okay, and the tip that we have, or I should say the context of this, is hot tub photo. Now, what is the hot tub photo? I don't know, but again, he's smiling an awful lot. Now, as I've said before, Bill Clinton's a goofy dude. He likes to smile. He likes to joke. Again, was part of his charm, and it's one reason why so many people liked him. But here we go.
Not the time.
For those who can't see it, it's a photo of you in a hot tub. There's a person next to you here. Do you remember where it was taken? Where was it taken?
I'm almost sure that this pic, and I think there's an adjacent photograph, which you probably have, and that if people saw it, they would feel that someone was trying to con them showing this picture. But anyway, this picture was taken.
What an odd thing to say.
In Brunei. And we flew one night.
Where the hell is Brunei? You have any idea?
I am not sure.
I'm not familiar with that place. Is that a city
think
or
it's
a
an island.
country or the Brunei? I'm not entirely sure.
On a trip to Asia, the last very long leg.
You said we. Is it who is that including?
Well, my whole team that was working
Thank you.
on the AIDS issue, and Mr. Epstein was there, and Miss Maxwell. But anyway, we got to the end of the flight was Brunei.
Look at it again. The smiles, dude. The recollection, you can see he's remembering something and he smiles about it.
It's a tiny place, but a very wealthy one. And the Sultan of Brunei was a man that I had gotten to know well in my 8 years as president. And his first involvement with international matters was basically to join the Asian Pacific Economic Leaders Conference, which I started and which he attended. And then he was very proud of that. And he hosted, his time came to host it. You do these things in a rotation. And it came either at the very end of my term or maybe the next year. Anyway, he wanted, when he knew I was coming, and he said he wanted to help me with my AIDS initiative, and he invited me to stay there. And he said, I want you to stay at this hotel, and I hope you'll use the pool. So I did. And then I got out and went to bed, exhausted.
Just for the record, there's another picture that also shows this as part of the larger pool area. Do you all have that so that he can refresh his recollection with respect to that?
You should have it. It's quite enlightening. If you watch this,
Yes, it's noted.
it'll
Yes.
give you a different feel.
Thank you.
Okay.
We don't have it with us right now.
Okay.
What an odd thing to say. If you watch this photo, it gives you a completely different feel. From what? Like, what kind of feel are we talking about? All right, again.
It's a country in Asia, Brunei, that he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Is it probably a little island nation okay. Yeah, he said it's very wealthy. Which again, dude, we all know they live a different life than we do. That's just how it is. The super wealthy. I think the Clintons always really wanted that lifestyle and were willing to do anything to achieve it. Just my personal. I put it this way. I've heard some very disturbing stories from when he was governor of Arkansas, and some allegations about trafficking and involvement with cartels. And have you heard these?
Wouldn't surprise me. No.
Yeah, there allegedly were some very, very sketchy things happening while he was governor of Arkansas. I don't know, but all right, we're at 220:34, and this runs to 222:21. And Clinton claims he never lied under oath.
Yeah, I had to add this one.
First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you ever lied in a deposition?
No.
Have you ever lied while under oath?
No.
Yes.
Thank you. Were you?
Now, I want you guys to remember back to the Monica Lewinsky scandal and
Paula Jones.
And there's more. But let's just focus on Monica Lewinsky, right? Because the important thing, he did not get impeached for sexual conduct.
No.
He got impeached for lying under oath. You guys remember that, right? If you don't, by all means, refresh your memory, because this is what I would qualify as an untruthful witness. Just saying.
Personally aware that Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times
17
during your presidency?
There's that number again.
Yep.
At the time it happened?
Yes.
No, at the time it happened, I was not.
Do you know, so Jeffrey Epstein never asked to meet with you personally in the White House while you were president during those 17 visits?
Not to my knowledge.
Would you know who he was meeting with?
That's a good question.
No.
That's a very good
Okay,
question.
I didn't know he was coming.
Is that standard protocol for the president to not know of someone who is attending, visiting the White House 17 times?
So wait, excuse me, just to be clear.
While you were
The
president?
White House office, which has 1,600 employees, you're speaking of the White House office? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I think that most presidents don't have a clue who's coming in every day unless it's somebody of personal interest to them.
And you know what? I can get with him on this one. The president is not omniscient. He has no way to know, unless he's sitting there watching cameras or reading the logs,
That's true.
of knowing
He's doing
who
other
all.
things.
Because, like she said, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of employees and people that are going in and out of the White House and running around. So potentially, Epstein could have visited the White House 17 times and not seen Bill Clinton once. Possible.
I guess it's
Likely?
possible.
No. I find it very unlikely that it happened, but possible. So then the next question, as asked, who was he meeting then?
Good question.
Who was he going to the White House to meet? 17 times.
President.
Yes, and you did have a familiar relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
No, I wasn't aware I'd ever met him when I was president.
While you were president. We are trying to establish.
That is odd.
Why did he do that with his forehead?
Yeah.
That was really, maybe he had an itch or something, but it's still
maybe.
kind of. I wish we had a body expert, body
Right?
language expert.
Yeah. If you guys know a body language expert that
Really
has done a
weird.
breakdown on this would be very interesting. But again, you can learn a lot by micro expressions and just watching people's faces as they testify. That's why I love video depositions as opposed to text. definitions, right? Or depositions, excuse me, because you can actually watch how people answer.
With Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
No, I wasn't aware I'd ever met him when I was president.
He didn't even scratch.
No,
He just held his finger there. What does that mean?
that's a good question.
That's an odd response. And it wasn't for just like touch and scratch or, use your fingernail to get something or even like massage your eyebrow. It was up on the temple and it was just how odd.
While you were president. We are trying to establish if Jeffrey Epstein was a foreign or potentially even a domestic asset of some kind. Do you have any reason to believe that he was trying to seek access to classified materials, intelligence reports, or sensitive government information?
No, I knew nothing about this story until it came up. I was glad to see that picture of the.
Yes, and Mr. President.
Again, he's smiling and laughing about some picture. I think he's talking about the passport. These obviously represent fond memories for him. Every time we ask him, or they ask him to recollect something or talk about something, he gets that grin on his face. Like, I don't know, man. I have a hard time thinking that he has any regret for any of this stuff that happened. Okay, so 235. I'm just curious, is this
President?
Okay, well, whatever. I got to go to what I'm actually supposed to be doing. 235:27. Nope, too far. Okay. Now, 235:27 to 236:26, about a minute long, and it says, does Clinton think Epstein killed himself?
With Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Okay, thank you. Mr. President, there's been new information that has come out regarding the autopsy of Mr. Epstein. I would just like to ask you personally and directly, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Are you asking him to speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I'm asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend Jeffrey Epstein suicidal?
Are you classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was
has
friendly?
called him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not. You've asked for his testimony.
Mr. President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know. I only know what the medical finding was. I think maybe
That's it.
he finally got caught, and I don't know. I've accepted it in my own mind. I don't know what happened.
The warrior.
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
But he did, but I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the lawyer's doing his best, man. He's like, you answered that. Stop it, without being ridiculous. Speaking of lawyers, did you see I forget which trial it was. I think it was like Les Wexner when they called him in front of Congress, and or maybe it was the head of Victoria's Secret. Anyway, one of these big guys connected to Epstein, and the lawyer leaned over and told him, if you answer another question in more than 5 words, I'm going to kill you.
What?
Did you see that?
I did not, but wow.
Look that up. Just put that quote in. You'll find it. These are people telling on powerful people.
Uh-huh.
And now, to the lawyer's credit, I get it, man. If you're trying to get your client, you're trying to protect your client. That's your job as their attorney. We can discuss whether it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter. The lawyer's job is to protect their client. And your client is steady giving information that is detrimental to your client, whether it's that client or a different client. You're going to tell them, shut the hell up. And this lawyer is trying. He's doing his best. I'll give it to him. He's doing his best.
Not going well.
But no. Clinton has a problem of oversharing. And again, the smiles, the facial expressions, everything is just wrong. All right. So what do you think? You know what? I do want to say this. I would actually like to see, and maybe Shawn will be kind enough to do this. They're actually calling in one of the correctional officers that were in charge of Epstein at the time, right? Now, you guys, I don't know how much you guys know about the details of Epstein's so-called suicide, but several really suspicious things happened. Number one of the individuals, I forget her name, but one of the correctional officers Googled multiple things regarding Epstein. Now, that's not unheard of when you're in charge of someone and you'd like to learn more about them. But the searches themselves were latest news on Epstein and different stuff. It was weird. In minutes before his so-called suicide. Also, there were 2 people assigned to that area. Both of them fell asleep at the same time. That does not happen, guys. That does not happen. When you and someone else, I worked in a prison. 2 people do not fall asleep at the exact same time and then wake up at the same time. Doesn't happen. Also, she had multiple cash deposits of very odd amounts, like $500, $5,000, something like that. Very even numbers, like multiple that were deposited to her account leading up to the Epstein drama.
And did the videotape stop or something?
Yeah. So the video, allegedly, the cameras quit working. Yeah. Bullshit. I call bullshit. This is a federal facility. The cameras are top notch. No.
Did they already test
Neither
it?
do we don't. None of
What?
Did the
I don't think it happened yet.
Okay,
I think it's coming up. I just read that they had called her. I know there was they did a couple of interviews, but she hasn't been. Now she's being called to testify in front of Congress. So
when that happens, yeah, I can do that.
I think so. Like I said, guys, I've worked at Indiana State Prison. I've worked in the most secure facilities in there, including IDU and X-Row. And when you have multiple cameras that are set up on an area, they don't just go out. The cameras don't just stop working. They don't just give up unless someone makes them stop. Also, they tried releasing this video, you guys might have seen it, that's supposed to be showing the outside of Epstein's cell. Did you see that? It's so-called video that's like, oh yeah, this is when the video stopped. The one outside his cell quit working, but another one is supposed to be up and running, right? So they released the footage from that, and it's like around the corner. You can't see anything from that camera. You can absolutely get in and out without that camera seeing you. It was a distraction. And if you guys remember, Bill Barr was the AG when Epstein happened. And I don't trust him at all. I think he's crooked AF, personally. Been picking up too much slang from my kids, man. All right. So let's see. We're going to Mark Middleton, whoever that is.
Oh, this story.
253.45. And we're going to.
It's relevant. It's a good.
It's what? It's a good one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So Mark Middleton, 253.45 to 257.12, about a minute and a half. We're almost done, guys. Stick with us a few more minutes and you'll get the full story. Here we go.
That question multiple
Absolutely.
times.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and finally, I want to move on to another question regarding the visits to the White House. Are you familiar with Mark Middleton?
Yes.
Can you describe who Mark Middleton was?
I don't know the name.
He was a young man from Arkansas.
Okay.
Who was really ambitious, wanted to go to work in Washington, wanted to have, and He knew Mac McClarty, my chief of staff, who was from Little Rock, and Bruce Lindsay, who was also from Little Rock. And he worked with us. And then later, I think he became, I don't know, but maybe he became a lobbyist later. But there was a period of time when he was in a position to wave people in to the White House because he was, that was one of his jobs.
Okay.
Okay.
So he was, has been identified by multiple news sources to be the individual that most of the time was entering or signing in Jeffrey Epstein into the White House.
Yes.
And what role did he have specifically at that time?
He was working and, you know, on logistical things in the White House, but there.
That was an interesting look directly at the camera. Did you catch that?
It.
He was working. He looked right at the camera.
Must have been some, and you know,
I could have look.
he was working and, you know.
Now maybe he's looking at someone seated there. I don't want to say for sure, but it sure looks like he was looking right at the camera. He was working, and then he changed what he was going to say.
On logistical things in the White House, but there must have been.
Logistical things in the White House could mean any number of things. One of the things that he was doing, though, was ensuring that Jeffrey Epstein got in and out.
And someone else who he told him to let him in. Maybe Mark had I don't know if he had the authority to let people in.
You can only testify to what you know. He's asking, who did Mark Middleton work for in the White House?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
I can find that, but
So knowing that he met with Mark Middleton or was signed in with Mark Middleton, do you have any knowledge of the content of the meetings or the topics of the meetings that Mr. Epstein would be coming for?
No, I never. Mac never said anything to me about meeting with him.
And by Mac, do you mean Mac McClarty?
Yeah.
Chief of Staff, did he work for Mac McClarty?
Well, he might have been, but at the time, was this at the beginning of my presidency or at the end?
This would have been during the 90s at the beginning.
1993 to 1995 is what they provided before
Yeah,
he was time for the visits.
He was my first chief of staff, and then he became my special envoy to Latin America. So,
And this is Mac McClarty.
Mac McClarty. So,
okay,
it depends on. Well, we could tell what he was doing if we knew when this happened.
Wait a minute. We could wait. I want to make sure I caught that right. Let's back it up just a second because those words again are a very interesting choice of phrasing.
Okay.
And I don't know why it's being slow today. It's you guys can see it's buffered down here.
Internet.
Yeah, it's not the internet. I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
Maybe it's buffered already, so it shouldn't be the internet.
Okay.
Here we
It
go.
depends on.
Look.
Well, we could tell what he was doing if we knew when this happened.
We could tell we could tell what he was doing based on the date. I'm gonna go for the most Occam's razor here, which is whether he was chief of staff or special envoy, depending on the date, I think is what he's trying to say. But it comes off very, very weird.
Okay. Are you aware that Mr. Middleton committed suicide
Yes, I
in
am.
2022?
That's convenient.
Isn't it?
That is super convenient, guys. Do you have any idea how many so-called Clinton associates have decided that they would rather leave this world than continue on? The number is shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
He was found dead at Hefner Ranch, approximately 30 miles from his home in Little Rock. He was discovered hanging from a tree by an extension cord around his neck with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest.
Wait, so he hung himself and shot himself allegedly?
Allegedly. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. with the
really,
it's dangerous working with the Clintons.
it really is dangerous working with the Clintons. That's take that for what it is and leave it for what it's not. I'm not suicidal. That's all I want to say.
I'm not either.
Right.
So he was shot and hung.
Yeah.
Do you, do you have any information that leads you to suspect that he did something other than commit suicide?
No.
No, you'll have to ask my wife about that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I truly believe, I don't think Bill Clinton has the mind for that level of deception and planning and master manipulation. I think Hillary does. Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Puppet, she exudes puppet master vibes. Like exudes. I could be wrong. Like a lot of people have said, don't let him fool you. The goofy exterior, there is a very, very manipulative and dangerous mind at work underneath that. And it's completely possible. We're going to jump ahead to, we're going to 333.32. 33332. And we're going there for Chelsea's wedding. You guys may or may not be aware, probably are by now, that Epstein's best buddy and son of foreign asset, Ghislaine Maxwell, was not only an attendee at Chelsea's wedding, Chelsea Clinton, but she's been shown in several photographs as being there. So here we go.
Memoir, you said that by the time Epstein was arrested in 2005, that you had stopped contact with him. When do you recall being the last time that you had any kind of communication with Mr. Epstein?
The last time I remember was with him was sometime in 2003.
Attorney Brad Edwards, that's an attorney who's represented many of Mr. Epstein's survivors.
Excuse me, counsel. I believe there was a misstatement there. The book says who in 2008 had been convicted and jailed in Florida, not 2005.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. So 2000.
Attorney Brad Edwards has represented many of Mr. Epstein's survivors. He claimed in a 2011 filing that he believed the Justice Department possessed some kind of correspondence from you from 2007 or 2008 on behalf of Jeffrey Epstein. At any of the various points when Mr. Epstein was under investigation, did you or any of your representatives ever submit any correspondence to the Department of Justice on his behalf?
I have no memory of that.
To your recollection or knowledge, did you or your representatives ever have any other communication with the Department of Justice regarding Jeffrey Epstein?
Not that I remember, no.
CNN has reported that in 2007, Ms. Maxwell co-hosted a fundraiser for Secretary Clinton's presidential campaign in New York City. We believe that Christina Aguilera may have performed at that event. Do you have any knowledge or recollection of attending that event?
I don't.
There was an email released as part of the DOJ files recently that suggested you may have attended a party at Ghislaine Maxwell's home in October of 2009, and that publicist Peggy Siegel, as well as Jeff Bezos, may have attended. My only question to you is whether you have any recollection of attending a party that I just described.
Is this her home in New York City?
It would be at Ms. Maxwell's home in New York City.
No, I have no memory of that at all.
Thank you. It's been widely reported that in July of 2010, Ms. Maxwell attended your daughter Chelsea's wedding in Rhinebeck, New York, and that she accompanied billionaire Ted Waite, who was
Again, Look, now maybe he's just thinking fondly on the day his daughter got married, which is completely possible.
Yeah.
Because I, for all his flaws, I have no reason to think that Bill Clinton is anything other than a loving father. If you guys remember back to when he was president, I think it was Saturday Night Live or some comedian did something where they made fun of Chelsea. And Hillary actually said, not okay. Knock it off. You can make fun of us all day long, but leave my daughter out of it. So it's possible that he was just thinking back to the day of his daughter's wedding. I'm going to assume that that's the case because there's plenty of evidence of sickness elsewhere, in my opinion.
Was at least at the time a family friend of yours, and you've described a little bit today. You, of course, were at that wedding as well. Do you have any specific recollection of interacting with Miss Maxwell at that wedding?
No, I was an emotional wreck. I was just trying not to fall off the little, what do you call the pallets? The
dais?
No, the wooden we walked on the grass with.
Oh, yeah. They put the boards down so it doesn't sink down in the grass, especially if it's kind of soft. They'll put like pallets or boards or whatever down so that people can walk down without getting their shoes all nasty. So completely possible that that's what he's actually talking about in this case. And like you said, I'm sure he was an emotional wreck. Like, dude, the day your daughter gets married, that's a huge deal for most fathers.
I knew she was there, and she and Ted were there.
And what was your understanding of her relationship with Mr. Waite at the time?
Well, I thought they were together, and I think Chelsea and Mark did too. And there.
It's also been reported that in 2011, your advisor.
Oh, okay. So we're going to jump ahead just a little bit to 337:43. And we're going to get in. This is like 3-4 minutes. We're going to get into a little bit about the Clinton Global Initiative.
I don't.
Here we go.
Thank you. That takes us through most of the known timeline of your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. There's just one more topic I would like to cover. That is the Clinton Global Initiative. In 2007, Mr. Epstein's lawyers claimed that he was part of the original group that conceived the Clinton Global Initiative. Would you agree with that characterization?
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit on why you would not agree with that?
I wouldn't agree with that because the first time I ever discussed what became the Clinton Global Initiative was with Doug Mann and the rest of our small group on the way back from Davos. And Doug said he wanted to.
And for those of you who may not be familiar, Davos is a meeting of basically the people who run the world. It's like the Bilderberg Group, the Grove. What do they call that? The Bohemian Grove. It's that kind of thing. Davos is invite only, heavy security, just like the Bilderberg Group. And luckily, world leaders are generally a part of Davos, but it's not a place where people who are not important go. It's just not. And I find it interesting. The reason I'm even mentioning this, I find it very interesting that the thought for this Clinton Global Initiative came after a visit to a place like that or a meeting like that. That is really lends a lot of credence as to what it eventually became.
We should have a meeting like this in New York at the opening of the UN. And we can make a lot of money.
Good.
Because you don't have to go to Davos. You can meet all these people over here. And I said, I want to do it for an entirely different reason. It's fine if we make money, but
Right.
the most important thing is that we give serious people a chance to go to meetings and actually make commitments to make positive change. I'm tired of going to meetings where everybody just bloviates and doesn't ever do a damn thing. So if we can figure out how to do that, I'm interested. And then we got, a team. There was, to operationalize it, it was Doug Band, Mary Morrison, who had worked for me in the inner office at the White House, and a man named Ed Hughes, who was a wonderful young guy who stayed with us the whole 12 years. And they were working on how to stand up and do the mechanics of this. And my job was to try to get some people who would come that people would want to hear and see, and try to, make it exciting and make people actually want to make commitments. And so I think it was at that point that Ghislaine may have gotten involved. I don't know. You can ask them about it, but I'm just telling you how it began. It began with Doug said, let's do this and make money, and me saying, let's do this and make commitments.
I think the question, Mr. President, which you answered was Jeffrey Epstein
involved?
At the time, no, not at all.
It was a simple question. You answered it. Shut up. Stop saying more.
Yeah.
Poor lawyer, dude.
But I do not know what happened afterward.
It has been publicly reported that in 2006,
Can you imagine being the attorney to someone who just won't shut up?
Yeah.
Mr. Epstein made a $25,000 donation to the Clinton Foundation. Do you have any specific knowledge or recollection of that donation?
No, I saw it I saw that it was reported. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. People make $25,000 donations all the time. It's a different world, man. It really is. It's a different world. Like 25 grand to these people is nothing. That's why when people are making a big deal out of the $25,000 donation to the Clinton Foundation or Global Initiative, 25 grand to these people is pocket. It's in the couch. Like that's the level that it matters to these people. It's wild. All right. Last clip. And we're at 346.25, so right about there, couple seconds before, and we're only going to 348.08, about a minute and a half, and it has to do with President Donald Trump. Here we go.
Minority Exhibit B, which you already have.
Yep.
President Trump's post refers to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes against young girls and women as the Epstein hoax. His post also completely ignores several other high-profile individuals, including Republicans and allies of President Trump, who were known to have had relationships with Epstein. In fact, the Epstein files contain numerous officials in the current and previous Trump administrations who have connections to Jeffrey Epstein, including Howard Lutnick, RFK Jr., Steve Bannon, Tom Barrett, Kevin Warsh, and Mehmet Oz, to name a few. President Clinton, to your knowledge, has the Trump administration done anything at all to investigate these other individuals with ties to Epstein?
Well, I wouldn't be in a position to know.
Right.
That's the truth.
That's a truthful answer. He wouldn't be in a position to know. He's out of the loop and has been for a long time. Not like Trump would tell him anything anyway.
As I said earlier, the only conversation I had with President Trump about this was in the early 2000s. And I have no information that he did anything wrong. I just want it all out there. I want everybody to get it all out there and let everybody see where we are.
And had you had any conversations with him since the early 2000s about this subject matter?
No.
And then my last question is, Howard Lutnick recently went so far as to lie about his close connections with Jeffrey Epstein, but the truth came out with the release of the files. President Clinton, is Howard Lutnick still employed as Secretary of Commerce in the Trump administration, to your knowledge?
I think he is.
And in your opinion,
That's it. And look, guys, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. I don't give a shit who's in the files. I don't care what they did. If there is credible, prosecutable evidence that someone did a crime, I don't care who they are, they should be prosecuted. Period.
Agreed.
End of story. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Lutnick. I don't care if it's RFK Jr. I don't care which side of the aisle they're on. If they're a sicko, they need to go. It's that simple. That's it for this hearing, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got something useful out of it. I know I did. I would recommend paying close attention to people when they give statements, especially when they're in a deposition, when they're answering questions, stuff like that. I think it's critically important that we understand that there's a lot more than words that go into communication. As a matter of fact, I believe it's 80% of our communication, at least 70% of our communication is nonverbal. Facial expression, body language, stuff like that. It's fascinating. Very, very little of it is the words we actually say. Tone matters a lot. Facial expression matters a lot. Body language matters a lot. These are all things that are difficult to see in a printed testimony, but they really show a lot in a video testimony. So that's it for this, ladies and gentlemen. I, again, hope you got something useful out of it. Excuse me. And I'm not sure what the next one we're going to look at is. Hiccups. I hate them. Excuse me. I'm not sure what the next one we're going to get to is really up to Shawn. But one of the things that I would like to see is I'd like to see the next UAP or UFO hearing. I did hear that President Trump has given the go-ahead to basically declass almost everything. That's going to be huge. I don't know. Like, I will say this, my opinion, I'm going to give my opinion before all this stuff gets out there. My opinion is that we're looking at interdimensional beings. I think we're looking at, personally, I think we're looking at demons. That's just my personal, I do wholeheartedly believe in demons. One of these days I'll talk about and I may have dropped it before, but when I was a kid, when I was a teenager and I was learning and struggling with, my faith and what I was going to do, I dabbled in the occult and it was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying. I absolutely believe that demons exist and are real, and we need to do everything we can to separate ourselves from them. So whether that means there are no aliens or whether that means something else, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. And if you're tuning into a YouTuber for the answers, then I don't. You might want to reevaluate. I just like talking about stuff. So I think it's important to have a conversation. Anyway, by the way, I'd like your opinion. What do you guys think of the audio? We're using different audio. This is the old mic. You guys can't see it right now, but I had a fixed mic that worked well. But I noticed in the last video that Shawn seemed kind of distant, and then one we did before, I seemed kind of distant. So we're trying some wireless ones.
Yep.
And let us know in the comments if you prefer this or the previous method. We may, I don't know if we'll be able to do, I'll have to dig my mixer out if we want to do both, but we will get it figured out. But let me know what you guys think. I think that's it. Anything you want to say?
We could do the resolution that they did for the war.
Yeah. So that's right. I forgot about that. So they did do a hearing where
it was just a Senate debate.
A Senate debate. I'm sorry. Where they were talking about whether to extend the AUMF or whether to restrict it.
All it was hold on. Let me find
And the AUMF is the authorization for the use of military force. And it's the thing that allowed Obama to drone strike tons of times and drop bombs all across the world. The president does not have to get permission from Congress to initiate conflict.
Nope. He has like 60 days.
He's got 60 days to let them know, hey, here's what's going on. Do we keep going? He can bomb the hell out of a place for 2 months before deciding, hey, we're going to go to war or we're done with that.
It's a war powers resolution.
War powers resolution.
But they're talking, and it was voted down. Democrats wanted to limit what Trump could do.
Okay.
So it was voted down in the Senate.
Okay.
So now they're talking about doing an AUMF. I don't know if they're going to do it or.
Okay. As it stands right now, though, Trump could do this in Iraq or Iran for 2 months. At the 60-day mark, what happens? To the best of your knowledge.
If I remember right, that's when Congress can decide if they want to intervene and stop it.
Okay.
Or I think they can actually do nothing and he continues.
He can continue if Congress doesn't basically put their foot down. Okay. Do you think Congress would stand up to Trump? I mean, we got a Republican majority barely, but it exists in the House and then a Republican majority in the Senate. Do you think that they would stand up against Trump? I don't
know. The base, there's a lot of people in the base who are not happy with that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who used to be one of Trump's greatest
greatest allies. What happened there, guys? Do you guys know what happened between him and MTG? Do you? I'm not entirely sure. I've heard some rumors. I've seen some tweets and stuff, but I don't know for sure what soured that relationship.
There's rumors that Code Pink, you know what Code Pink is?
Code Pink?
Have you heard of Code Pink? The activist group that's very anti-war.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Allegedly, there was some sort of protest.
Okay.
And she told them exactly where Trump was going to be.
Oh, that's right. I remember now. Yeah. So allegedly.
This is all allegedly.
Right. All of this is allegedly. These are rumors for what? For entertainment purposes only. So I heard that Marjorie Taylor Greene was really good friends with one of the founders of Code Pink. That's right. And so Trump was going out to lunch in Washington, I believe, or somewhere. He was somewhere. He was going out to lunch. MTG knew where he was going. And according to people, not me, according to people, she leaked where he was going to be and told them, hey, he's going to be here. And of course, they acted a fool because these people can't just protest. They can't just be outside with their signs. They have to do more. They have to assault people and scream and fall down and act a fool.
They're a vicious group.
They are really a vicious group. Now, look, I don't want war any more than anybody else does. Like, I am wholeheartedly against ground troops anywhere other than America, personally. But Iran is a unique situation, and I don't pretend to have a full working knowledge of everything that was going on there. Did you see? I watched an interesting video, just real quick. Did you see the interview with Besant, however you say his name?
Yeah,
the one where he was called out by Trump in the middle of it, and then came back, and his voice was breaking. And let me find that because this is really, really interesting.
Why has Donald Trump ignored these?
Let me I'm going to pause on. Okay, guys, I was able to find it. So it's by the body language guy. I'm going to show you the channel. It says Scott Besant's voice gave everything away after the Situation Room. It's like 8 minutes. We're going to play it real quick just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here.
Situation Room is the perfect. Scott Besant's return from Trump's Situation Room is the perfect example of how even the most seasoned communicator gets betrayed by the one signal his discipline can't fully suppress. Watch.
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule. And
Scott Bessant, U.S. Treasury Secretary, macro investor, and one of the most composed communicators in Washington, was sitting down for a long-form interview on the Master Investor podcast with Wilfred Frost. He was relaxed, he was fluent, he was deep inside a conversation about Japanese economic policy when Trump called. Bessent left for the Situation Room. Over an hour later, he came back. You just watch his first moments on camera after that visit. And if you're wondering what exactly changed, most people have been looking in the wrong place entirely, because the answer is not in his face and it's not in his eyes. We're about to find out exactly where it is. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and today we are doing a full before and after on Scott Bessent. But before we analyze what changed, we need to establish who Bessent is as a communicator, because the contrast is really everything here. Pay attention to his hands and the rhythm of his head.
Yeah, great fellow Funabashi-san, Japanese journalist, thinker, policy person, called and said, there's this fellow called Abe. He had been the prime minister before.
Notice the physical fluency. This is not just verbal. His right hand is working constantly, drawing the meaning of his words in the air. We call these illustrator gestures. They're one of the clearest markers of genuine cognitive engagement. Not just reciting, but thinking out loud, with his body following every thought in real time. It's also nodding softly throughout. That continuous vertical head movement is an unconscious signal of internal conviction. His body.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of communicators talk about this, especially body language experts. If you're saying something you agree with, you tend to nod. But if you're watching something like Hillary during her, there were a lot of statements where she's like, yes, or yeah.
Is agreeing with its own output. Now watch the second clip.
Yeah, now check this
He's going to come back. I think he could be the prime minister, and he's going to campaign on restoring the Japanese economy, economic strength as national strength, and on a reflationary platform.
Same confidence, but now he subtly lifts his chin. That chin raise is a dominance display. It elongates the neck, expands the body's visual footprint, signals, I own this space. And that pinch gesture, index finger pressure to Trump. Index finger pressed to thumb, that's a baton
Trump does
gesture.
that all the time.
Batons land on the key word like a conductor's downstroke, precision emphasis from a man in complete command of his delivery. This is his baseline.
Right.
But here's where everything changes. There's no audio to analyze from the interruption itself, but the footage captures the exact moment Bessent is pulled away. And someone approaches to deliver the news. Something crosses his face for less than a fraction of a second. A lip corner pressed on the right side, a micro expression of frustration. He doesn't yet know who is calling.
Who is interrupting?
Then he finds out it's Trump himself. His face immediately relaxes into a soft smile.
Wow.
He's
It's Trump.
cooperative. He leaves. He spends a little more than 1 hour in the Situation Room. And the man who comes back is not quite the man who left. Now, look at his hands as he answers the first question after he returns.
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule. And
his hands are completely still, pinned to his thighs. The same hands that were sculpting ideas in the air minutes ago are now nowhere. In body language, when a habitual gesturer suddenly stops gesturing, we call this a freeze response, a change of rhythm. The brain is under overwhelming load and begins eliminating non-essential outputs. And the first thing to go is gestures.
Yeah.
His voice also carries a slight tremor as he delivers the line about the Iranian mission. The words say calm and in control. Well, the delivery says something else. But the moment that tells us everything comes next.
Watch this.
I have to tell you, Wolf, that I've a teenager who's considering military service.
He stumbles on teenager, not on a policy term, not on a foreign name. No, the word teenager, a word that he has said thousands of times in his life. And that is precisely the point. Stress-induced disfluency doesn't attack your hardest words. It attacks the words loaded with the most emotional weight in that specific moment.
Interesting, right?
He's not tripping on the syllables. He's tripping on what the word means to him, his child.
Now, I'm going to interject here real quick because I had a different interpretation of this particular moment. My thought is Scott Bissent went to say, I have a teenage son, and he stopped himself and said teenager rather than say, or daughter. I don't know for sure how his family makeup is, but maybe he decided I shouldn't give out that much information.
Could be.
I don't know, but I'm giving an alternate possibility. But the rest of this is very interesting. Watch.
That I'm a teenager.
See, I think maybe a teenage son that he was about to say and then stopped himself. That's my thought. But the rest of this still holds true.
And his hands are still frozen. He's working to compose himself. And then something shifts.
Yeah.
Watch his left hand as he starts talking about the team.
And I could give this team my highest compliment, from President Trump to the head of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of War. I would say that I would trust my child's life in their hands.
The illustrator gesture returns. First the left hand, then both hands rising together on I would trust my child's life in their hands. He has found solid ground, a statement that he believes completely, and his body follows. The voice is still slightly unsteady, but the gestures are back. This is reconciliation. The emotional override is releasing. He is landing back in his own delivery.
Anyway, that was the most important part that I wanted you guys to see. By all means, check this guy out. Once again, the name of the channel is The Body Language Guy, and fascinating videos. And especially in this scenario, people have said, well, what could he have possibly learned? Could he have learned? And now, if you read the comments, somebody was like, he learned Netanyahu got killed. But people were like, no, the timeline's wrong. This was before that claim. I'm not saying he is or not. I don't know. But people are claiming that the videos that are being released are AI. Have you seen these videos of Netanyahu that are making the rounds? They're very short clips showing him out and about and talking to people.
I have not.
Yeah, there's one in particular that shows him. The background is very blurry. For like, camera technology is good now, guys. Like, that part is suspicious. But also, if you watch his left hand, he's got a wedding ring on his left hand, but when it extends, it disappears. People are like, AI.
Really?
That's AI. Yeah. We'll do another show if you're interested, and we'll dig into it, or maybe I'll tackle it. But yeah, by all means, guys, don't believe something just because a video tells you it happened. Do your research on stuff, look into it, make sure you get multiple independent verifications, because you can't believe anything anymore, man.
No.
Can't believe the news. CNN has been caught multiple times telling outright falsehoods, or at minimum staging things. Did you see that the war in Ukraine with the guys that were just hanging out in the background? They're supposed to be in a deep war zone under fire, and these dudes are just like playing basketball or something. They're just like, what are you doing? Stuff like that. And then the flood, where the guy was like in that deep, I think he was in a ditch, so it looked way deeper than it was, and people are just walking along the road next to him. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. Stuff like that.
There's
just
a lot of
absolutely
crazy
ridiculous.
stuff.
There's tons of crazy stuff out there. So that's it for today. I'd love to go on and on. You guys know I love to talk, but there's more important stuff that needs to be done. Without further ado, thanks for joining us, Shawn. We appreciate the time that you put in on doing these, and hopefully you said you're planning on doing the Senate argument for the military force, or not the AUMF, the War Powers Resolution. And hopefully we can look forward to that. And once they pull that correctional officer in front of Congress, I want to see that. I think it's going to be very interesting, because she's not a politician. She's not someone that is used to. Now, I got a question for you guys, and I want you guys to answer it in the comments. What do you think Trump constantly refers to central casting? What do you guys think he's talking about? Do you think he's saying that these people are all actors, Or do you think that he's saying they all kind of come from the same place? Because that could be as well. So that's it for today. God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you again real soon.